All right, guys, we're on week 4. We're on day 4 of the 6 Art Deco Mixed Media Arty Party. How are you guys doing? I was just scrolling through the Facebook feed and things are looking good, my friends. Things are looking really, really, really good. So today's lesson was released this morning, and today, just to recap, well, yesterday's lesson, we were doing all the acrylic painting part, and then today we're actually adding all the shading, and we are finishing up the hot dog portion of this mixed media project. So that's really exciting. Technically, we could actually be done today and just be done, but there's just so much more. But if anyone is feeling very good about themselves after they get the shading in, you should be feeling really good about yourselves because you just created a dimensional mixed media portrait face, which is a really big deal. So I hope you're feeling awesome about that. Let's see who's hanging out with me this morning. Margot Brush, number 1 in the house, girlfriend. Thank you so much for all your help. Oh my goodness. Rebecca is here. Well, hello. Ziana is here. Your name is super cool. Vanna, also super cool. Patricia, love you, girl. Colleen, hello, welcome. Emily Tackett, good morning, my friend. Barbara Brewer, Bryn, what's up, girlfriend? Oh, good. Yay! Alexi's here. All these lovely. Donna Lyons in the house. Hi, my friend. Lisa. Yay! Oh my gosh, everybody's here. Ellen is here. Diana, Jan, Terry, Mattia. Is it Mattia? Mattia. Love it. Either way. Awesome. You guys are the best. Ooh, who's coming from Hilton Head? I just saw Hilton Head, but all your things are coming in. Oh, Diane, I love Hilton Head. Oh my gosh, it's so nice there. Oh, good. Linda says, first time using gel crayons. What fun. That makes me so happy. They're super fun. They're like a secret weapon. They just look like children's toys, but then really actually they're like a superpower for acrylics. So I'm so glad you guys get to experience that. I brought with me a ton of artwork to show you guys today. I don't know why I didn't just do this in my studio. I literally went back up and down like 10 times to bring everything up so I could show you today. Bright Side says, I use feathers. Hope that's okay. Wee! Girlfriend, you can use whatever you want. So funny. Yay. Oh, hi, Trish from South Carolina. We're neighbors. North Carolina right here. Awesome, awesome. Oh, good. Linda's looking forward to trying the gel crayons. Awesome. Awesome. It's okay. The video was just released this morning, so no one's behind. And actually, I'm like a little obsessive about that. People are like, I'm sorry. I had people messaging me like, I'm sorry, I'm behind. I'm like, this is like a self-study experience. You go as fast as slow as you want to. So you don't need to apologize to me. You know, just do whatever you want, whenever the mood strikes. Everybody's super busy. I actually forgot to release the lessons on the very first day because I had such a crazy morning trying to get my kids to school. And then Maggie, who's right there, was like, she's like a super asshole if you don't walk her in the morning. Like, she's awful until she gets her morning walk, and she was driving me crazy. So I went on the walk, and then it was 8 o'clock and I realized I hadn't released the lessons yet. And I was luckily messaging with my best friend, Lucy, who is co-director of the Celtic Collective. And so she's the only other human on the planet in the whole world who knows how to publish courses in my art school. And I like couldn't believe my luck. I'm like 1.5 miles from my house on foot. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't even have them published yet. So we were like in the middle of the conversation. I was like, oh shit. So like, Lucy, can you publish? She was like, of course I can. Oh my God. But like, had she not been available, I don't even know what I could do. So long story short, we're all really busy. I have 3 kids. I have 4 pets. Like, someone's always in crisis. Like, I didn't even feed my family last night. I had like 2 bowls of cereal standing up on my island, and then I like split. So no one needs to apologize ever about being ahead or behind. Like, it's all good. It's all good, my friends. It is so all good. You see the live on the Celtic Club. When is there going to be one for the mixed media? You know what I'm going to do, Linda? I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes tour just in general for all three. And then the mixed media one is going to be, Saturday, but I have a bunch of artwork to show you for that today. So it's kind of like right now is the little mixed media tour, but then Sunday I'll be fielding more questions about that. Yes, Margaret Brush, October 2 p.m. Yeah, and I just posted this little schedule. I promised I was going to move my times around to try to get more people or different people. So I did that. So tomorrow's giveaway for the portrait is going to be tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So I'm hoping some of my Australians, it'll be 10 p.m. on Friday night. Maybe you guys are going to be up and like done watching Netflix and you can tune in and try to catch a live, I'm hoping. And then I have scheduled, and I don't even know, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually gonna print this out. I wonder if I can. So I just posted this. Where am I? I'll print this out and I'll show you. I just posted this in the Facebook group though. So it is Saturday, Margot. That's correct. It is. Did I say Sunday? Sorry. That's why I'm like, I need to look at my sheet because I don't even know. Hold on. Okay. I just stepped on a pile of artwork. All right, so this is the information sessions. So this is not workshop related. If anyone wants further information on the Celtic Collective, that's today at 5 p.m. I'm going to be on with Lucy to talk about that, as well as we're bringing a student guest. Surprise, surprise. Fun Fact Drawing Club, I'm going to be talking on October 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then Mixed Media Society, I'm going to talk about today. And then if there's any further questions, I'll address them here. And I'm having a student come on here too. So I like when you guys can ask students questions because they think about things in different ways that I do. So I like it for them to chime in as well. I'm just going to turn my light on. I hope that helps do this monthly. The party never ends when you join the clubs. You got to come join the clubs. That's all we do all year long, every other week, depending on what club you're in. Lucy and I think we're publishing 6 new lessons in the Celtic Collective. They all drop on the 7th, which I think is next Tuesday. So yeah, the fun never ends, my friend. The mixed media is in 2 days. Yeah. And I'll talk about it right now too. Oh, Joanna, your cat's name is Lucy. So I keep talking about your cat. I know. Good afternoon, Eileen. It is so great to see everybody. So what's Saturday? So these are just the information why can't I talk? Sessions. If anyone wants to learn more about the clubs at Awesome Art School, these are going to be like dedicated times. And it's just to hang out. I'm going to be so drinking on these nights. After I do my live today, I record my podcast with Lucy. And then after the podcast, we're going to be jumping on live to talk about the Celtic Collective. So I will definitely be having drink in hand. And then these are super, they're free, they're fun. It's me hanging out with either another teacher or a student and just talking things and taking questions. I'll do a little behind the scenes tour. I think it's important to see what things look like on the inside, and just hang out and answer questions. Yeah, so much content, said Tara. Hi, Tara. Yes, Linda says if you're in all 3 clubs, there's always new lessons and old lessons and a lifetime of amazing fun. I know, it's nuts, and I'll show you guys in a minute. But before we get to, everything's recorded, Lisbeth, so you can just watch it whenever. All the replays are here. You look like I have wings. Oh, because of my dragon? I do have wings. It's my superpower. Hello, Sandra. Was that 7 p.m. Eastern time? Yes. Yeah. And I just posted this. I pinned it in the Facebook group, so you could just see that little schedule. And I also put it in the workshop. I put links. So you can actually just click the links and go right to them too. Yes, they will be posted in your daily email, Rebecca. And actually, I was thinking I could just also, before I go live, I can also just shoot you an email that says like, we're about to hop on, and like that's it. And then if you want to join, would that be helpful? Would you like? I hate sending too many emails. People get pissed, so I always am like a little afraid to do that, but I can just do one little quickie email. You're behind. You can't find where to post things. Gail, you can post them anywhere in the Facebook group. Just use the hashtag Art Deco Divas, and then we'll find you. So anywhere in the Facebook group is totally fine. Oh, Johanna's in the club. You're a cool kid now. Yeah, you are, but you were cool anyways. Yes, Christina made it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Thank you, Jeanette, for posting the hashtag so you can see what that is. Yes. Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad you like getting emails. Sometimes people are not happy about that. So I can do a little quick reminder, like, we're about to come on. And then if you don't want it, just don't attend. It's, you don't need to reply back like, I can't make it. And everything is recorded and everything's uploaded onto my Awesome Art School YouTube channel, and everything is uploaded also into the workshop classroom. So yeah, so no worries. And you can always email me questions too. I am always available. And my team, Jeanette and Tara and Margot, are always standing by to help too. So you can shout your questions out as loud as you can, and we will do our best to answer them. Oh, awesome. Oh, congratulations, a new grandbaby in the house. Oh my God, little squishy babies. I haven't held a new squishy baby in so long. Oh, Carla, that's cool. I hope the jabbering was lovely for your car ride. Oh, you're so sweet, you guys. And yes, Linda, you are damn straight about that. They are amazeballs. They really, 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 really are. I would be nowhere without my team. Absolutely. Let's talk about the workshop, shall we? So, couple of concerns that I noticed. People are a little bit afraid that their noses might have been lost with the addition of the acrylic layer. So, let's talk noses first, and then we'll talk about the ugly phase, which I touched upon the other day. But the noses are made up of typically shading and not lines. So if you're a little nervous to re-outline something, you can actually just add in the little, what I like to call the little parentheses, which is just like, they're little like parentheses on either side. So if you're going to add any lines, those are the only ones I would add. I added this line, but I actually never really do that. So this one is unnecessary. And then just those literally draw parentheses to outline it. And then the rest we'll do for shading. And then I'll show you where to put the highlights on of that. Okay, so that should bring the combination of the parentheses and the shading that you'll learn in the lesson today and tomorrow is what is going to create that nose. Okay, and then the shading guide I also gave you in the classroom. I was going to see if I have a copy right in front of me. It's in my Fun Fab Faces drawing book as well. It shows you different face shading patterns. And so I'm using one of those face shading patterns for this. And you guys have that all in the classroom. But just the little parentheses on either side is honestly all you need for a nosy nose. I'm just trying to look. I look at a bunch of other ones. So this one, same thing. See her parentheses? And then I just outlined like her nostrils and then the line underneath. But you never draw anything else. It's so little. It's like so little. It's just parentheses and maybe some what's this one? Maybe some nostrils. So she's looking up a little bit. So she has parentheses and then 2 nostril holes. All right, you see her? So that's a little piggy. Someone says, my noses always end up looking like pig noses. You really don't overthink or overwork a nose. It's like barely anything. You have parentheses on either side, 2 holes, 2 ovals for the nostrils, and then the rest is all formed by shading. So it's like there's practically no drawing to them whatsoever. But they come from the shading. I'm trying to see this one. So on the 3/4 portrait, that's the only time that I generally draw a bridge. That's like the only time you get a line, is just to highlight the bridge. Oh, everything is backwards in my computer. It's so weird. So that's when this line becomes like essential. But then again, this other one's just parentheses, nostril, 2 little lines. It's weird because there's such a monumental part of your face, but it's all created by shading and not actual drawn lines. Yeah, same thing with this one. This is like oval, and then there's this one is deeply shaded. So instead of having just the parentheses, it is the parentheses, but then there's much more dramatic shading there. So don't worry, you put some parentheses and a little shading in your noses, will be back in business, but use your gelatos to create that shading and follow along with the videos. You guys are so funny. Oh, thank you, Tara. So the ugly phase, it happens every project. You simply nod to acknowledge it and then move on quickly. Don't perseverate on it. Don't think about it. There's nothing to think about other than the fact that it's guaranteed to show up, and you're just like, oh yeah, here we are. Sometimes I will take a picture, and that's the picture that I will post, like on Instagram, like, or in my stories. I'll be like, here's the alien phase. I just did it the other day, and it's hilarious because it's so ugly. Like, it's frighteningly, hilariously ugly when it shows up. I actually have to show you one from the other day because it was, oh, here, perfect. And I actually did a little video of it too. Watch this. I'm gonna see if you can see it. Look at this one. Oh my gosh, this part cracks me up. If that does not look like a super alien, I don't know what is. Oh my gosh, wait till you see the final. It's going to look nothing like this. But hilarious. All right, is that not like an alien? That's crazy town looking. That looks crazy. I mean, you could look at that and be like, what am I even doing? But I always have a good chuckle because it's hilarious. But it's only because I know I've done so many projects and worked through it and past it that I know it's gonna be fine. So yeah, it's a super alien. You cannot let it bother you. You just have to know it's coming, say hello, and move on with the rest of the project and keep going. Or else you would never create anything because it happens every project. All right? Does that make you feel better about the ugly phase? I hope so. It totally looks like it. Okay. Okay. All right. Good. I think we're good. Can you talk about the difference between oil pastels and gelatos? Yes, they are not the same project in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, oil pastels are a fine art product, and they're their own world. Gelatos are a craft product. So fine art, craft, kids, student grade. They're kind of in the middle. This is fun mixed media work. So we're not creating fine art. I'm super honest. Like I always say, like, I'm not a fine artist. I'm a fun artist. So we're not dealing with fine art. We're just having fun. And gelatos are awesome because they're so easy to make shading. Now, can you use, and actually I'm glad you brought this up because I actually wrote this down as a question because I was in awesome art school and someone had commented that, like, does it have to be gel crayons or can we use oil pastels or water soluble things? And the reason that I choose gel crayons is super specific reason. And if you have my hamburger mixed media book, I go into depth on this in there, as well as in my hamburger series which is both in the Mixed Media Society and on YouTube. The reason that I specifically choose gelatos and gel crayons is that there's a continuum of water solubility. You have things like the Stabilo that on a scale of 0 to 10, their water solubility is like a 12. Like it's like crazy town dramatic. And like you add a little water and it's just, it's like the most, like if it's a black color, it's like the most deep jet black saturated amazing color in the whole world. It's like nuts. So you go anywhere with there with a liquid or a sealer and it is smear town city. And then you have the other end of the spectrum, which is 0, which is like super permanent ink, like India permanent black ink is like permanent. You can get it archival. It will last 100, 200 years and it won't fade. So that's your continuum. So what I chose, and the reason I choose gel crayons to do shading on my mixed media portraits is that they're like a perfect level water solubility, like level of like a 4. So, and there's different products are kind of vary on that continuum. So what I want is what they give me. And what I want is when I go to do the sealant layer, which is tomorrow, and you take your foam brush and you take your sealant and you're literally swiping over her whole face, those gelatos blend the freaking perfect amount. So you can't use oil pastels because they are not water soluble. So you can't layer sealants and acrylics and all that gunk on top of them. So that's why oil pastels are not used in the hamburger. And you also don't use really water soluble supplies for that shading, because if you have a water soluble material that's an 8, 9, or 10, and you go to add your sealant layer, you'll ruin your whole project. All right, so that's why I'm really specific about those supplies. And that's why I went to such an extreme degree to give you guys the correct alternatives for if you can't use these. And that's why I didn't mention oil pastels as an alternative, and I didn't offer up other really water soluble supplies on this line. This is a tried and true recipe and system that I discovered through years of experimentation and disasters and success projects. So this recipe is chosen specifically because it works so well. So I hope that answers your oil pastel question. So oil pastels can absolutely be used in mixed media projects. They just have to be the final layer on top. So you could absolutely do this project. You could do up until this point, and then for the shading, do oil pastels, and then just stop, and then you would just be finished at that point. Does that make sense? So I'm not saying you can't use them ever. I'm not saying you can't use them in mixed media projects. I'm just saying you have to know what layer in your layers, and that's why I love, and that's also why I created the hot dog packet. This is that separate packet that's in the workshop classroom that has all of, I don't even know where the first page is. This one, it's 31 pages of different hot dogs. Have you guys seen this yet? It's in your classroom. You got it with your workshop. These are all different successful ways to layer your mixed media projects. And so there is 1 or 2 that have oils in them, and you'll notice that they're on top. But that's why what I did is I reached out to all my friends and students, and I said, hey, you guys, I know have been doing this stuff for a really long time. What are your favorite successful ways to layer your projects? Because I know I haven't tried them all. And so that's why I created that PDF packet. It's almost like a mini ebook to show you all the different ways, because it really matters in mixed media what order you put things. Like it's the difference between a mess and a masterpiece, like legit. Here's a great one. So here's one. This one was, I actually did this, was a YouTube collaboration I did with my friend, Kristen Van Vuckenberg. She has the best last name. I like to say it with verve when I say it out loud. So I made her this spray painted background. I mailed it to her in Arizona, and she did this amazing freaking whatever mystery face that's coming out in oil pastels. But because that was her layer, then she did more decoration, but she actually added these mirrors on the side so they're not interacting with the oil pastels. And then what I actually don't have on here is she actually etched into the oil pastels because they don't dry fully for quite a long time, which is the reason that you can't put acrylic sealers on top of them, but you can etch in them because they're really soft and buttery. So there's so many cool things you can do with every kind of mixed media material that you have, but the order that you use matters greatly. And so that's why I love this packet, because it's filled with brilliant artists who have already figured out what works so well. So I hope you take advantage of that. And I also have like a brand new hot dog classroom in the Mixed Media Society where I'm going to be trying all those different variations. And I'll be putting those lessons in the classroom over time as we go. Just like how right now there's a hamburger classroom, and that's filled up with all sorts of different projects that use the same layering system. So I have a really, like, all my experience has been saved up, and then I'm spitting out these really easy to learn recipes so that you can just go and use the recipe and have success. And hopefully that's awesome for you. So I hope that super long explanation of why not oils makes sense to you. I think there are yes, there are, but they're specific. It's a specific oil pastel sealant that you have to purchase. Sennelier sells them, but again, it'll be a fine art, like specific oil pastel sealing product that you'll be looking for. It's getting me all worked up about my layers. Oh yes, there are, yes, you can turn, am I talking too fast? I saw this one. There are subtitles on YouTube that are automated. Yes. I'm just looking through. Oh, good. Someone is printing to make a binder. Awesome, awesome, awesome. This question I get all the time. If you have something that might smudge, can you use a spray cylinder to lock it and then seal with Mod? To be honest, I have never once used a spray sealant to lock it in. If I don't want something to smudge, I won't use a project that will smudge, because I just don't like risking it. So if I don't want something to move, like if I'm coloring with a pencil and I don't want it to smear, then I'll make sure not to use a water soluble pencil. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that will work, but I've never tried it because I just pick out the gate what I want to work. So if I want it to be smeary, I'll use a smear one that I know will be smeary. And if not, then I don't. And to me, that's just easier than like having an extra layer of kind of gooky on top. But that's just me. You can spray all day long, my friend. And I don't like extra like layers of gook in my project, but yes, you can 100% mess around with that for sure. And also, when in doubt, test it out. Like that's always too. Like if you really want to know, try it definitely and let me know. So you have problems with pit pen going over the parts where I put. So pit pens don't go on until after we seal, Patricia. We're not at the pit pens part yet. Those work specifically going over the sealant layer. Those are very specific. So if you have the hot dog and the hamburger, so the toppings. So here's our little recap. We have our hot dog, which is just 4 layers. We haven't sealed it yet. Okay, so this is tomorrow is where we go from hot dog to hamburger because we're gonna keep on going. And there's just this, these are unedited photos. Okay, so this is the difference. It's kind of crisp and bright, and this one has just, it's a lot more, has more dimension, more depth, more depth, killer extra in that one. And so then our next move is to seal. We're gonna seal next. And these are all our different things we can seal next. And then we are going to use our pit pens afterwards. Woo. Okay, details, pit pens go now. And the reason is, again, it's like, I've done these projects for years. So there's a reason. I will never do anything if it's not for a real reason. I just sometimes forget to explain all the reasons. And the reason is, the pit pens over that silky smooth surface is so magical. And you can, again, add so easily and quickly, like so easy, like seconds, add more dimension to your pieces. It's like magic, but it doesn't work if you don't have that sealer layer. It's everything is for a very, very specific reason. Download the layering information. It's all in the classroom for you. Tara Salento, can you grab her a link? There's a link that goes right to that. And I'm assuming you're in the workshop. This is live streamed, so I'm assuming people watching it are in the workshop, but there could also be people here that are just from the general public who have no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm assuming you're in the workshop, and if you are, Tara, if you don't mind adding a link to where the hot dog materials are all in the classroom under PDFs. Oh, thank you. Margot's got it. Oh, Trisha said she tried the fan brush hair technique. Oh, good. And it used a dark brown and a metallic copper. It didn't, yeah, it's hard to see, like any metallics or shiny. The photograph never gives it justice. I'm so glad. So this I get a lot, and this you won't get this with the pit pens. I'm angsty about Posca pens and never get the ink not to skip. So it skips because your little nibby friend, nibby tip, is skipping on the texture that's in your mixed media piece, and that's what's causing that. So if there's any little pressure, it can release the ink. So pit pens, and that's why pit pens are my go-to, they don't have that same ink delivery system, which is why they don't skip. So try pit pens if you can get a hold of them. Yeah, but if you notice Posca pens on a really smooth piece of paper, don't skip. It's related to your surface. Can you seal your feathers? I think so. I've embedded feathers in like encaustic pieces. And I'm trying to think if that would work with Mod Podge. You know, honestly, if you use Mod Podge, it totally would work. Yes. I don't think it'll work as well if you use like matte medium. So it depends on what you're using to seal. I would use Mod Podge because it's way more of like a glue than an acrylic medium. So it just depends on what you're sealing with. That's a great question. Okay, Diane, you're in the workshop, and it looks like Margot shot you this link right after your comment, so you can click on that and that'll lead you to the hot dog. By the way, that hot dog PDF is also a free resource to anybody, and I do have a link to that somewhere. Someone has a link to that. I can get that for anyone else, but I need to look up. Actually, let me see if I can grab it here. I don't think, ladies, you don't have access to that link, but I do. Hold on, I will grab that. So in case anyone is not in the workshop, or anyone can use this link to, I'm not logged in under this. Give me 1 second. One moment, please. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to try to get that hot dog link for you. Just me too. Ooh. Come on, log in to an account I haven't logged into in forever. Oh, here we go. I think I'm getting it for you. All right. Hello? Oh, is that it? Exit preview. I think this is it. Let me see if this works. No. Oh, where's that? Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. Here's the link to the hot dog packet. And anybody, if you need another copy, you can grab it right there. Pit pens, how do you store those? In a mess, in a bin? I would put them nib down if I was storing them. Did you guys get my link? I just posted the hot dog link. Are Tombows and pit pens interchangeable? Such an excellent question. No, not at all. First of all, nope. Pit pens are a rarity. They are like an anomaly on the craft art market. They're actually a fine art product. They are filled with permanent pigment India ink. So they're permanent when they dry. And I love them. They're my favorite. I love also Tombows. So Tombows have a few different markers. Normally when mixed media people talk about Tombows, they're referring to their dual brush pen, which is a water soluble pen, meaning you can color with it. And then when you add water, it all melts and becomes water soluble. So pit pens are permanent and Tombows are water soluble. But Tombow also has alcohol markers and they have other things on the market as well. But that's a great question. And if you notice too in the classroom, I don't list any alternatives to pit pens except for some skin colored Posca pens, paint pens. Oh, thank you. Yes. Sometimes you can find the gelato alternatives at TJ Maxx. Yes. Tuesday morning always has markers. I find there too. Oh, there's no link. Linda can see it and some people can't. You know what? I'll email it to you, Tara. I'll email it to you right now. Would that work? Or I'll drop it in Facebook Messenger. Or both. Tara, I'm going to email it to you. And then you can sprinkle that around. Does that work? Okay. I just emailed it to you so you can post it. Can you use a regular brush for sealing? That's a really good question too. So you can, but keep in mind you're using a brush for basically glue. So you have run a really much increased chances of wrecking your brushes. I like foam brushes because I don't care if I wreck them because they're like 2 cents. But also I buy a pack of 25 foam brushes and I use them for like 5 years. I wash them right away. You can trash them. They're awesome. And another reason I use foam brushes, I'm glad you brought this up and I brought 2 to remind myself to talk about this, is that when you get to the sealing part of the project, which is tomorrow's lesson, and you find that something is smearing that you didn't expect more than you wanted to, you're starting to freak out, it's dragging dirt somewhere that's not good, have a few of these around because all you can do is drop the dirty one and then start fresh with a clean one. And you can, because everything is now suspended in liquid, if something starts dragging, you can just sweep in with a clean brush and then sweep it out of the way. It's super normal. Nobody freak out. Things will be smearing a bit tomorrow, but the blending is part of the yumminess of it. Okay. So that's to be expected. And watch the lesson before you try it so you know what to expect. Okay, but there is a bit of moving around even with these permanent materials. Sometimes things move. If you have a few clean ones nearby, you can just quick switch and be like, oh, whoops, let's get that out of there. Quick switch, So that's a little hot tip I would highly recommend. So that's another reason that I don't use brushes. There's a lot of reasons. I also always use Mod Podge, and that's really much more glue than a medium. So I'm really using these to protect my expensive acrylic brushes is really why I'm using them. But then also if these get gunked up or whatever, then I don't care if these get wear and tears. Does that make sense? All right. Oh, good, Tara. I'm glad. Yes, I saw the link. Where do I get them from? There's links right in the classroom. I find them at all the craft stores, Amazon. I don't think I've ever ordered mine on Amazon, but there's a link in the classroom for you. They sell them at Home Depot. They sell them at Joann's, Michael's. They sell them pretty much any craft store. They probably have them at Walmart in their craft section. They're pretty widely available. Didn't glide, so sad. Just are you talking about your gelatos? So just like moisten your finger a little bit. Lick your finger just for a second. I know it sounds gross. You're also like, it's, you just kind of got to get in there. And sometimes you're not putting down enough gelato too. Like people use it really sparingly. Like go ahead and rub. You need some of it to be rubbed down so you can move it around with your finger. Yeah, Dollar Tree. Yeah. They disintegrate after one use, really? I don't know. Maybe you're getting really, really crappy ones. I use mine 100 times in a row. Yeah, there's links right in the classroom for everything. Are these considered, no, they are not pit pens, but they are pit pen alternatives because I think everyone in the workshop bought up all the pit pens in the whole world. Yeah, you can warm up the gelato. Yeah, try shooting them with a hairdryer. I mean, my gelatos are like 10 years old and they're still going. So yeah, or like rub a bunch down on like a separate sheet of paper and then try to smear them. You gotta just try things, guys. Try things. But yeah, that sounds like really, really crappy foam brushes for sure. There's cheap and then there's like too cheap not working. So that's maybe too cheap. All right, I'm just going to cruise through comments. Real question. I can't even talk. Cruise through the comments and see if there's any questions. So I'm not using my Stabilo wall in this project because I know people would freak out. So I'm not sure which part of the project you're talking about in this particular project, Monica. You can feel free to elaborate. We got the PDF link there. Ashley, did you grab the hot dog link? Okay. Let me know. Okay, I think I just want to make sure I'm not. Yeah, there is a spray Mod Podge. I actually just tried that on a project. It's super weird. I just did an experiment because I wanted to see if it would work. So I sprayed one of my older projects. I bought the Ultra Matte Mod Podge. What's really weird about it, so you would think you could like seal using the spray, but what I found was that like it's so liquidy because it's watered down so much to be able to move through the spritzer that it like made my whole entire project soaking wet in order to get it all. So you either have to like spray a fine mist everywhere and then use a brush anyways to get it over, but I didn't want to use a brush, so that, or spray the crap out of it so it's like all soaking. And I was doing it on another project that I had done, like an upcycled record project and there was a collage background just like this one. And because there's like texture and all the things, it was like so wet. It would be like pooling in one part and then like not in another. So it was a little awkward to work with, but I did try the spray Mod Podge. And it did dry super unbelievably matte. Like after, even though it was soaking wet and like pooling in puddles, it dried completely clear and ultra matte as advertised. But I think if I had had a lot of like Stabilo or something under there, it probably would have maybe enticed it to move. So very interesting project test there, I have to say. Yes. Yeah, you can always spray before using the liquid Mod Podge. Absolutely. I just don't because I don't care when things move around. Is the sealant for them? So Mod Podge creates its own acrylic sealant. The Mod Podge liquid is different than their spray sealant. I don't know, I need to do sign language, but they're not the same product. But Mod Podge makes a great spray acrylic sealer, which is an equivalent to the Americana spray, if that makes sense. Does this work in an art journal? Yes, that Americana spray that I use totally works in an art journal, and I have a whole video on that to prove it. And in the video, I actually I was opening up an art journal that Stampington and Company, they published a ton of my work, and they were mailing me back an art journal, and they had had it for like a year, and it had been in this packaging for like months. And so in that video, I actually open it on camera and like rip the pages open on camera, like had been opened in months, and everything was fine. It can make a scary sound a little bit, but nothing was ruined. And I sprayed every single page in that. Actually, I thought I actually brought it upstairs. And so, yes, you can use that in art journals. You had gloss. Nope, there's no problem. Doesn't matter what kind of mediums you use. You're very welcome. All right. So, does anyone have more questions about our Art Deco projects for tomorrow? We're going to seal. I would definitely recommend watching that. Watch and then do. Okay. I pour the Mod Podge right directly on her face and go. Don't do that. I would recommend putting it in a little cup and then dipping it and going that way. I do think, however, it's less stressful to start in the face than the background, because sometimes when you start in the background because you're nervous, so you're like, I'm just gonna start over here where it's safe so I don't smear anything. The problem with that is that's where you can actually pick up the most gunk, and then by the time when you get to her face, you're bringing it into her face. So I like to start in the middle of her face and go outward. That way, if I pick up any gunk, I'm actually getting it away from her face, and it can go live in the background somewhere else. Okay, hot tip. When are we going to Scotland? Actually, I'm going to Scotland every single year of my whole life. 2022 is full, but you can always join the list for 2023. No, I have not done prizes yet. I'm so sorry, Eileen. She's like, get to the good part. Okay, let me do prizes, and then I'm going to give whoever wants to hang out, I'm going to give you a little tour of Awesome Art School and show you how you can see all the projects in all of the clubs before you join. It's a public website resource, and you can actually go and see every single thing that we do. So I'm going to show you that in a second and how you move around. So the winners for today I'm picked at random. I did not pick favorites. I searched and scrolled and random. Is Monica Mills is the first winner, not number one in the it's not a contest, just participation. Oh, and by the way, I'm also going to show you samples of all the projects in the different classrooms that we do too. They're all like scattered around here as well. All right, so Monica Mills is winning a t-shirt today. Now, it's not this t-shirt, but it's the same quote as the one I'm already wearing, but it's actually this. It's this exact image, but it's on a t-shirt. So Monica, you have like, I think there's like 8 color choices. So I'm going to reach out to you and you can pick which color choice you want. And the t-shirts and hoodies are sold on my Etsy shop. I always forget to say that I have an Etsy shop. And members, by the way, get 20% off of everything in the Etsy shop. So just FYI, members. The second winner, Louise Robert, is winning a $25 Amazon gift card to receive the art supplies of her choice. I mean, that's what I would buy, but that's just me. All right, Monica, she's getting the t-shirt. And it's one of my favorite sayings that is a part of my creed. Now, the creed I was talking about in yesterday's live, I actually keep it laminated near me at all times. I mailed this in your emails to you this morning. You just click on you actually just click a button and it will download this PDF. I give this to all my students when they join Awesome Art School. It's just to help you stay warm and fuzzy about yourself, your abilities, and your artwork. And I just hope these little positive sayings keep you inspired and motivated and not feeling angsty or bad about yourselves, because you're awesome and you need to remember that. So that's why you need to know. Oh, Jeanette, you have my like super old Etsy shop link name. It's actually shop / Karen Campbell artist. Does that even work? Does that old link work? That's like 5 years old. That's awesome. I don't know where you dug that out from, my friend. That's hilarious. Does that still work? It probably does. I think you can have one more. I think you can have more than one URL on Etsy, but that's literally so old. Before I was, I gotta look that up and see if it works. That's hilarious. Oh, it does. That's awesome. So before I started Awesome Art School, way before, my business name was Cool Mama Crafts, and I used to do art parties and birthday parties, but craft parties with adults, and that was my business name like a million years ago. That's hilarious that I don't even know where you saw that, Jeanette. That's so funny. Okay. All right, so I'm going to give you a quick little sampling and talk through the Mixed Media Society because I'm getting a million questions. So I'll just give you a verbal, and then I'm going to share, and then I'm going to show you some projects, and then I'll just share my screen and show you that website I was talking about in case you want to check it out. So first of all, there is 0 experience required to join the Mixed Media Society. There is like 0 experience to join any of my art clubs. I assume that everyone who shows up to me has no experience. So there's always a place for everyone to start if you're starting from scratch. And the way I have things laid out in the Mixed Media Society is by art supply. So say you're like, oh my God, I want to do mixed media, but like I've never actually worked with acrylics before. I have an entire module that's just for learning acrylics, starting from scratch. Like, what are acrylics? What are the different kinds? What are the mediums? What are the best brushes to use? And then we just dive into some projects. So I will teach you how to use the medium by completing a series of fun projects. And you do them in order from beginning to end. When you finish that module, you get a little certificate, and then you can move to the next one. Now, if you're not a rule follower like me and you wanted to skip around the whole entire thing, you can do that too. I just want to reassure anyone who is starting from scratch and really nervous, there is a built-in curriculum for every single art supply that I teach that is available to you for when you join up. So the introductory modules that are available to start in, and you get access to everything when you join, is acrylics, watercolors, encaustics, fountain pen inks, magic mark makers, which are all the little pens, pencils, water soluble, permanent art supplies that they sell on the market, at least a general big sampling of them. And then there's an introduction to art journaling and mixed media for beginners. So those are 6 separate modules that anyone can start in if they're really freaked out to go to mixed media, and they can get all their basics filled up that way first. So examples of say for beginners, and I just like to have fun. So like, for example, in my watercolor module, we practice swatching our colors, so we have a really fun time doing it. So we'll do something like we'll test all our colors by making really funny hair. Okay, so it's very laid back. This is not stuffy art school, blah, blah, blah. This is just us having fun, learning, and then doing things in fun ways. But this is all for beginners, okay? So that's like an example of watercolors. And we do things like florals. Oh, there's a lot of florals there. There's a lot of sea creature. There's whales. And so every project is an educational product to get you more and more familiar with the medium, but also making really cool projects. And I'm going to show you everything in just a second. So that's like 2 seconds on watercolors. In the acrylics medium, it's the same exact thing. So we start with like, what is that? And there's some demos. Also, I like to demo some of those things first so you can, so you don't need to go buy everything and then figure out like, oh my God, I didn't even need to use that. Or like, I wish I had known about this first. So it's to educate you generally, and that before we dive into the project. So we do everything from super simple. I don't have a super simple example in front of me, but then, oh gosh, so many things. But then like we go all the way, well, to advanced. So these will be like straight. So when you're in the advanced project, you're doing this is not mixed media. This is just acrylics, right? So there's a lot of animals. So this is just acrylics. So for those who are just trying to master one medium without getting crazy, you can do one medium only projects there. And like I always get questions about the dragon. I dragged it up. Oh my God, it's so big. So I teach you how to do that spray painting background. And then we have this big giant dragon. But this is just acrylics. Okay, so there's tons of projects that are only one medium that you can learn, so you can master that medium and then go off and run with it and put it into all your mixed media projects. So that's really quick acrylics. That was really quick watercolors. Really quick Encaustics. Very few people do the Encaustics. I think they're scared of it. Encaustics is awesome. If you ever get bored and you want something so fun to do the Encaustics module. It's my favorite. And the best thing about it is it's not hard at all. It looks so fancy, but it's so not fancy. But I love that about it. You get these very kind of like, you're creating these things that look like they could be sold in like a high-end gift shop, and they take like minutes. It's magical. So this is one of my favorites. I wish more people would be brave and try it, because you are missing out if you don't try this. It's so easy. I use scrap pieces of wood. Do I still Mod Podge over just acrylics? Nope, I don't, Kale. Acrylics dries to a completely sealed, non-porous permanent layer, so it doesn't require any sealing. Yes, Jill says, I love Encaustics. It is the most fun. Do you have lifetime access if you do the year-long option? No, because I never stop adding projects. So I add like, oh my God, at least 24 projects every year. So it's just like Netflix. You are enrolled until you're unenrolled, but you do get to keep whatever you download. So you do get a lot. But if you stop your membership, then you don't get access to the new lessons. So I don't know why I keep showing this. Anyways, it's super fun. There's a lot of great, but these are like so much simpler than you would ever imagine. But it has a really cool, just think of Encaustics as just like another way to seal, is basically how I use it. And so this the more advanced projects become much more mixed media, but God, they're fun. They're really, really, really creative and really fun. And I do it super on the cheap. So I use a crock pot. That's all that I use, like a big vat crock pot on low that I get from like a thrift store. Pour in my caustic medium, brush it on. I do love me a blowtorch, but you can use a hairdryer and it's so fun. So Encaustics is hot wax. It's hot beeswax, but it's mixed with like another chemical. Which one should I join? That is a good question. I'll go over all of them briefly when I do the little tour in just a minute. Do you need to? No. So the standalone courses I don't add on to, so you don't need to download them unless you want to. You have lifetime access to all of the Art Deco because it's a standalone course. It's just the memberships you don't, because they never stop. They never stop. So they only stop if you stop paying, then that's the end of your journey. You wouldn't get the new ones because you're not paying for the new ones anymore. But so that's the difference between what's lifetime access and what's not. But that being said, again, and I'm the only person I know this, but I do allow you to download the lessons that you want to in the memberships. Can you use old crayons for Encaustics? Yes, you totally can. You can use your oil pastels. Now, this is a great use of using your oil pastels. And I just use tuna cans, and you can melt all sorts of things in those tuna cans. I do it super on the cheap. It's so fun. Do you need a vent? Yes. Well, you need a window. I just keep my windows open, my fan on, or I work in my garage. But I actually show you, like, because I know this setup is really intimidating. So the way that I teach it is that I show you, I start with my messy art studio and I time lapse it, but it's me. At first I clean up my art studio and then I prep my whole studio for working in Encaustics, so you can see exactly what I do. Again, so few people do it. It's so fun. It's like a secret party module that really, really you should try. It's super fun. You got a coupon the other day. I posted it, so you can join the Art Deco for $5. So reach up, Tara Salento. Can you, Tara's my Patreon helper. Can you help Janine get the coupon for the Patreon members? Yeah, Encaustics is super fun. Can you use just beeswax? No, it has to be encaustic medium. Yes, that's a great question. And Encaustics is like one of the longest. It's like one of the, but you can make, I take that back. You can use beeswax, but if you want to make your own encaustic medium, you have to mix it with a percentage of Jamar resin. And I teach you how to do that in there as well. You melt them together and then you mix it. Which class is encaustic in? It's a whole module in and of itself. I'm going to share my screen and show you in just 2 seconds. Yeah, and these are all in the Mixed Media Society. So that was real quick. We did watercolors. I talked about acrylics. There's so much, it's ridiculous. The encaustics. And then I have like a mixed media art journaling for beginners where I teach you how to make your own art journal, altered books, how to prep any page to like become an art journal. And then I have some really fun mixed media, like simpler projects. Like this one is a really well-known project. I've had this one made into pillows and like sold like crazy. So this is a really fun project that's in there. There's just so many. I only brought up like a tiny sample, but that's from that classroom. That's a really fun, popular project. Yes, it's so fun. The only thing about encaustics, you have to fuse every layer, but I teach you how to do all that. I got you. Don't worry. So that's there's a lot on. It's all pretty much not all of it, but but 80% of that module is about art journaling. I do a cityscape, so I don't just do faces too. I get a lot of questions, and I'll show you in a minute. So that's that for beginners. And then the other beginner module. Oh, there's two more. There's one is Inktastic. That's a newer one, so I don't have as many projects in there yet, but I love to, I grabbed the wrong journal. So I love to paint with fountain pen ink, which is super weird. You're not even supposed to paint with it, but I do, and I love it. It makes the most like crazy, exciting, rich color projects of all time. And so these are just made with fountain pen inks. These are not lessons, but I'm just showing you, there are lessons in there. I'm just showing you in general what the vibrancy that you can achieve when you're working with fountain pen inks. This is a beginner lesson. So this is actually the first lesson in that classroom. This is actually a lesson from the Fun Fab Drawing Club, which I'll talk about too in a moment. But this is this is a lesson in the Inktastic classroom. So this is like one of the more advanced ones. So again, everything's in order in those modules that are by Art Supply, so that it's, you don't, so you have a direction, you know where to start and where you're going. These are all my colors. Have a problem, but I love fountain pens, and some of those are YouTube tutorials. Oh, this one is a fun one. This is in the Mixed Media Society, and this is using Neocolor 2s. So this is in the, and I'll segue now to the last of the introductory modules. This is the Magic Mark Makers, where we really experiment and play with all of those. Some of the tools that we're using for the Art Deco workshop. So like the Pit Pens and the Gelatos have their own lesson. This is the whole lesson. And in it, I use Neocolor 2s in like 8 different ways. It's like wet, dry, with gesso, with water, like different ways. So again, I always like couple learning with a cool project. It's like, while we're here, we might as well make something awesome while we're learning about how to use it with gesso at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Just a little spicy. Oh, she's another lesson. She's another lesson in the Fun Fab Drawing Club in one of the most advanced classrooms. So that has this same thing. There's like a little, we call it a journey of an awesome artist. So you work your way through more difficult classrooms one at a time. You get a certificate at the end of each one. So she is in the second to last of the most advanced projects. Giving you a little sneak peek. This one is also done in inks. You can see the vibrancy kind of kicks watercolor's ass sometimes. That's why I love it so much. Oh, that's another little. And then here's like an easier. This is a little project also with fountain pen inks too, which is a little Mixed Media Society. This is a Mixed Media Society lesson too, which is like Spring Goddess. So this is Hamburger. I just did it in my art journal instead of on a canvas. So this is a Hamburger classroom. And I have a classroom filled with projects that are all done using the same exact process that we're doing all this week. So what's so cool is that once you understand the layers, you can take those same layers and the same art supplies and use them in a million different ways. So something like her, and then all of a sudden, where's my little, where is that? Oh, like you can do what about this one? It doesn't have to be faces. It doesn't have to be whatever. You can use the hamburger system in a whole bunch of different ways. So this one I didn't do the collage. You can just left that part off. And then I just started with acrylic paint. But the layers all stay the same. So that's what I love about the hamburger system. It's like once you understand the role of your supplies and the order, you can use that knowledge to make some really, really cool, creative projects. And like here's another little hamburger project. Like, oh my God, little Krabby, so freaking cute. So there's a whole classroom with hamburger stuff in it. And then I'm just created the hot dog classroom, and I'm gonna fill that one up with new hot dog lessons. We also do, big things like that dragon. Here's another hamburger. Is there anyone behind me? Hamburger lesson. This is a 4-foot tall mermaid. That's in 2 pieces. So this one is super fun, but that's hamburger system. But this one has a spray paint background instead of a collage background. So there's also classrooms by subject. So I have like a whole fantasy classroom where we do like, she's like a elven snake charmer, obviously, and that's where the dragon lives. And so when I'm in the mood to like, oh, I need to do like a big giant fairy, blah blah blah, then I will put that in the fantasy classroom. And when I announce a new class, I can say, oh hey, here's your new lesson, and you can find it in the fantasy classroom. And then here's some other little hamburgers. So I love the fact that with the hamburger, you know, it doesn't matter what you're making. The process is the same, but your project can be super varied. It can be anything. It can be, you know, quotes. It can be people, animals, you know, it can be whatever you want. All with the same layers. It's so awesome. Do you have to prime wood? Okay. I'm just making sure I'm not missing any. Yeah, you can sell your art you make, but I would make it your own. I wouldn't just make like this exact project and sell it, only because I have so many students. I feel like they'd sit here and be like, why is she selling Karen's thing? So make it your own. Use your own colors. You know what I mean? Like change, use all different, that's washi tape. Use all different washi tape. Make her a pink dress. Like make it your own. But yes, of course, you can totally sell. Do I have to prime the wood boards before you start? It depends on what medium you're putting on top. If you're in the classrooms or don't post art, you can post in the Facebook group. I just have one Facebook group. I can't handle having 80,000 Facebook groups. I have barely enough time as it is to like love on my people in the one that I have. So here, I'll give you a little tour if you want. You can see, and you can actually just go visit these and check them out if you want more information. Share screen. I'm going to share this one. So if you want to, hold on. You can, sharing that screen. Okay. Here, I'm going to move this over here. So, oh, where are you? There you are. There I am. Okay, you can see my screen. So if you just go to awesomeartschool.com, do you see here at the top? You can actually see like up at the strip. So to get to the workshop this week, you go to just my courses and that'll show you the workshop. And then if you want to explore any of the clubs, you can actually see all of them just by clicking any of the clubs up here at the top of your screen. So we're talking about Mixed Media Society just for right now. So when you go here, this is actually where my students go if they want to pick their project like by project, like if you want to see it and pick that way, because you can go through Awesome Art School, but you can't see the projects that way, but you can see them in here. So I usually have a calendar of events of what's coming up. So that they know. So Mixed Media Society right now is getting new projects every other week. I have a lot of students that are in all 3 clubs, so I try not to overwhelm everybody with like 3 new lessons every week. So they all work a little bit differently, but these are 2. I'm doing Morticia from the Addams Family. We're doing a big hamburger special there. I'm doing a steampunk coming up. These are the 2 books that you get for free when you sign up. But if you're a student and you're like, oh yeah, I have a question, I want to just download something. If you actually click any button from that website, it actually takes you, I don't know why there's 2 pictures of me there. It actually takes you right to the book. So you can view it, you can download it right from there. So here's a little helpful hint, like these are different ways you can explore. You can explore by supply. Oh, and I forgot about Karen's World, it's brand new. This is what I was just telling you about, these mediums. So you can pick by mediums. These were all the classrooms I was just talking about. Or you can pick by themes. So you're like, oh, I'm in the mood for florals today. Like I want to make flowers. You can just go to the flowers classroom. These are all classrooms. And they're all filled with projects. And you can pick that way. Yeah. So, oh, I always forget about this too. There's so much I forget. Members also get access for free to my YouTube and cheat sheet library. So this is where all my cheat sheets live. Now, you guys know me for my cheat sheets. I think I'm up to 26 cheat sheets right now. all of them are right here for you. So if you wanted that hot dog and you're a member, you just actually can go right here and you can just click it right here and grab it. All my cheat sheets, all my everything is right here, and all my YouTube channels, all my YouTube videos are here, and they're sorted as well, which is super helpful because people are like, how do I draw hair? And you can go here, and these are all my hair drawing videos in one place, which is just really helps you skip around with just a lot very easily. Karen's World is a brand new classroom that I just opened, which is actually really fun. If you have a little experience, the deadline is Sunday. If you have, you can sign up by going to Awesome Art School. That's probably the easiest. If you like kind of know what you're doing already, this is a really fun, at least I hope it's really fun. That was my intention, was I give you kind of like a really quick rundown, because a lot of people are like, wait, what are your favorite brushes for acrylics? What eraser is that again? Like, what's your pencil sharpener? Like, what spray paints do you use? Like, I get these quickie little supply questions all the time. So I literally went in here and I give you, these are really short videos. That's only 1 minute and 21 seconds. I think the longest one here, there's 7 minutes on finishers. I think that's my longest one. So they're all quick fountain pinnings. It's like 1 minute and 15 seconds. So this is like quick answer. And all of these have links to that supply too. So this is a really great, just overall resource. Like, I'm obsessed with this Pentel pocket brush pen. You'll see me using it tomorrow. So if you want to know what that is, I show you exactly what it is. There's a little PDF. You can actually click to it right in there and then just get your questions answered like super quickly. So that's brand new, and I hope that helps. Here's a look at, and then this is literally, you just scroll through this website and you can see them all. So here's a little overview of what you learn in this classroom, so you know. And then here are all the projects. If something is cropped off, you just click on it and it will blow it up for you. And in case you're like, oh my God, I want to do that lesson, all you have to do is click on the green arrow and it takes you right to the lesson and you're ready to go. Okay. So that is what this, what's so nice about the visual index. And Tara Salento, my girlfriend, this entire thing is Tara's idea. This did not exist before I brought Tara on to help me out. And this is her brainchild. So everyone take a moment and say thank you to Tara Salento, because this is her brainchild come to life, and it's such an amazing idea, and it works really, really well. So these are all the projects we learn in the little magic mark makers classroom. And then this is the acrylics module I was telling you about, where we start off just real easy, learning about supplies. We learn about some techniques, we get some skills, and then we do paintings. So we launch in. So if you're really scared, this is a great exercise. We do the same project 2 times. This is wet on wet blending, and this one is wet on dry blending. And it's super useful to figure out what your favorite way is to paint and to work with your paints. So, busy right now, don't call me. So, yeah, lots of thanks to Tara Salento. I know, it's super, super fun. So yeah, so these are all the ones in the acrylics module. So I'm glad you got to see these kind of in person, because you would never know that dragon is as big as it is. Here is the watercolors module. And you can see there's a lot of fun, kind of whimsical, but these are exercises disguised as cool lessons. There's a cute little mini watercolors. There's a lot of florals in here. And I do have a lot of guest teachers as well. This one is by Brandy Dayton, who is a really awesome, accomplished watercolor artist, although she's moved on to acrylics and oils since then. This is another guest art. This is Lucy Bryden. So as you can see, The projects go from really, really simple to really, really fancy. But when you do them in order, you get like a really full education. You can really focus on there. So there's the Encaustics one. So there's just, it's a huge arrangement. This one is a class by Ivy Newport, who's a very well-known artist as well. She does awesome Encaustics work. Those are some of the pieces that you just saw. And then Mixing the Media is really like art journaling for beginners. And again, this little image. Tara, do you like these? Mandy just made them. These just give you a really quick rundown as to kind of what is in here. Yeah. So this is all the altered book journaling for beginners. And then here's the Inktastic. Again, this is kind of a baby one. This will be growing over time. That one is relatively new compared to the other ones. So this is, all my memberships are growing. We're always adding more things every single month. This was a lot of people did this. This was another week-long workshop that I had, like the Art Deco one, where we did all these facial features using only a Stabilo all pencil and water. It's all we used for all of these projects. It was, stop calling me. Sorry, like, don't you know I'm busy right now. And then you get also, as a bonus, you get all of the these are all the classes that come with the Mixed Media Magic, the book. So that's kind of fun to see them in. And there's also, these are 3 bonus lessons. This one, I know a lot of people want to know where this one is. That's where this one lives. It's in it's like an 8-minute version on YouTube, but this is about a 2-hour lesson. And I get this question a lot about YouTube versus the courses. If I have something on YouTube that can benefit my students, I will bring that lesson into the club to augment your classes there. But nothing ever starts in the clubs and then goes to YouTube. It's only a one-way door in, because a lot of stuff on YouTube is really useful, but things that start in the club stay in the club. This one, I love this project. She's so sassy. I love that one. I gifted that to one of my patrons. Oh, good. Ellen said she learned a lot from that workshop. Yeah, that was a really fun workshop. I had a lot of fun with that. And people were like, I don't get why this is mixed media. And I'm like, because I use Stabilo in every single one of my projects. So if you can master that Stabilo in this workshop, you can master that Stabilo anywhere. So that's super fun. So these are all the hamburger projects. So this is using the same methods that you guys learned this week. You can do all, this is actually a giant, that is she's a giant. That's what's it called? An album cover opened, and it's the double spread of the upcycled, what's it called? This is my little grumpy cat. He's so cute. He's a newer one. I think you guys have seen this one before. She's like always kicking around on my floor for some reason. So this is that brand new hot dog classroom. So using that PDF, I'm going to be developing a whole bunch of new lessons that are going to go in there. And then you can choose by theme as well. So that's kind of nice if you're just, you're like, I just want to do like a cute animal today. Then I kind of just compiled them all here. This was a bonus little extra Christmas lesson that I did last year. This cute little bug. So there are a lot of animals. Lucy, I was new to gouache, so I actually interviewed Lucy, and she gave us a whole lesson on gouache. And then I did these 4 fun these are actually cards. So that's really fun. And then we do goofy things like that donkey, which I just kind of held up. So kind of just fill them out as we go, and then we just add on. So there's some Art Deco things, and there's lots of florals. We just wrapped up a 9-week, and this is what I mean, it depends. I just wrapped up a 9-week tulip portrait series. So this was 9 weeks in a row. We did these tulip portraits to master our blending techniques for acrylic. And so that was really fun. And then here's our event here. So again, you can like click on these and it takes you right to the lesson. Those will change to the green arrows, and then facades is coming, and then I just change them up. So yeah, you have my permission in all of these to just trace. If I don't give you them, I always give you like a final copy of mine. You're welcome to trace whatever you need. Yeah, I don't expect anyone in my mixed media society to know how to draw anything. I teach all the drawing in my drawing club. So this is a little sneak peek of the drawing club. It's set up in exactly the same way. We've been working on perspective. So I always have like I'm always in some sort of season for the new lesson. So we've been doing perspective the last, I don't know, maybe 8 weeks. We've been doing 1-point perspective. Then we're taking a break and we're doing the Addams Family, which I am so freaking fired up about. So we're doing 5 Sundays in a row of the Addams Family, Lurch, Morticia. As you can see, I'll show you what they look like. So the clubs we do really different things. So yeah, those are all the characters of the Addams Family. Those are the 2 books that you get. You also get the YouTube and cheat sheet library. And then for the beginner drawings, you start here at stage 1. So if you're brand new to drawing, you've never drawn before, I got you. Like, this is for people who literally cannot draw a straight line. So all you have to do is follow the lessons in order. You get a little certificate of a completion every time you finish one of these stage classrooms. You just keep going. You just go right in order like you're in school. And again, we're working through projects, getting more and more advanced. This one is a lot like my lesson where we're doing the same project in that acrylics. When you're exploring wet on wet blending and wet on dry blending, we're doing the same exact lesson, but the left one is whimsical and the right one is realistic. And so going through the same project, but in 2 really different styles, is very illuminating for people, because they're like, oh my God, I thought I was going to hate realistic and it was my favorite. Or like, oh my God, I felt really weird doing the whimsical the whole time. I didn't like it. And I'm like, well, now you know, like, it's important to find that out. So those exercises, again, I'm always trying to teach like through exercises. So a lot of you will recognize this one. This is the first drawing of the 100 Fun Fab Faces. So that was one that started on YouTube, and then I brought it into the club because it's a great lesson. And it kind of kicks us off for alcohol, for the alcohol marker lessons, these beginner lessons. And we just get more advanced. This is about as fancy as supplies we get here. All the fancy supplies are in the Mixed Media Society. So we do a couple things with Tombows. We do a lot of markers, alcohol marker work, and the rest, really all of it is in graphite. Again, this is like an exception, but that was not born in the drawing club. That was one that was brought in from YouTube. So a lot of work on profiles, and then we work from go and 3/4 portraits in different directions, different styles. So you can really experiment and find your style. This is learning how to, and then we segue from whimsical to realism. So that's how we learn everything in stages, just like you're in school. So we were doing, these are all very whimsical, stylized, and then we kind of serious it up a little bit. And we start to get our whimsical muscles working here as we advance. I do love tone paper, so I do teach on that as well. And then as we go up through, so once there's 6 beginner stages, just like there's 6 introductory art supply stages in the Mixed Media Society. And then once you graduate from that, you can go wherever you want in the clubs. That being said, if you want to start out by going anywhere in the clubs, you absolutely can. So then here is this one is a really popular lesson. You'll see this one popping up in the Facebook group quite often. So those people have probably graduated through those first classrooms, and now they're moving on to the more difficult ones. The Whimsical Women of the World was an amazing series. I split between YouTube and the Drawing Club. The Drawing Club, however, has a lot that YouTube doesn't have. It has all the supply list, it has the references, it has all the real-time videos. So none of that is on YouTube. So it's a really big difference. But it was an amazing series. I published a book based on this series, and I featured a lot of work of my students is in there as well. That's all markers. And then there's just classrooms for fun. There's also hands. Oh yes, hands for days. So many hands. I have to say, people who want to get good at shading and seeing and developing their vision abilities, the hands classroom is where you want to live. I also teach figures. My quadrant method is a really easy way to learn how to draw figures. I teach you how to draw exactly what you see, and then we draw the same exact lesson again, but then I teach you how to make it your own. So this perfect example right here, the left-hand side is copying exactly from another artist, and then the right-hand side is how to take that exact lesson and let's now make it our own. Same thing. This was a lesson actually on learning how to scale. So I'm teaching you the quadrant method. And then I'm teaching you how to do math so you can scale up or down your drawings. So it gets pretty technical in there. And then I have really fluffy, fun classrooms. Like this one's just all fantasy creatures. Like she is like a fashion flower fairy. So hey, when you're feeling crazy, there's also these. This one is one of my all-time favorites. This was on a t-shirt when I visited Iceland. He was Loki on a t-shirt and we drew him, and this is one of my all-time favorite lessons. Then we drew his girlfriend because he was lonely. So we drew her. So there's all sorts of those little Sprite. He also makes an appearance in the Celtic Collective, which I'll go to in just a second. So there's all sorts of, this is charcoal. This gets really advanced. So there's lots and lots in here. Here's a toned paper where we just do toned paper. Here's a bonus classroom on just dudes. We have our art deco things in here. We have the whole 100 Fun Fab Faces series. And what's nice about this is that all the references are included. And also all the last 6 lessons are in real time. And those are time-lapsed on YouTube. And then, of course, okay, these lines are my favorite. Can we just talk about this for a minute? We have our animals, which we do lots of fun. Look at this dude. Come on. Come on. Oh, it's not all serious. Sometimes we just need to do a scribble doggy. And then sometimes we do serious it up and we do quite realistic things. So there is a really wide, and I'm sorry, I look like a serial killer in that picture. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about it. We did a whole quirky cats series. We did a whole goofy dog series. So there's so much. I need to do more florals. There's not too much, and there needs to be more of that. Oh, that's the wrong thumbnail. That's a web error. And then I told you right now we've been doing perspective. So these are the perspectives that we've been learning. So there's like a gigantic, oh, and this is my latest one. You might see this in there. So we do a really gigantic range of random things. And it's so fun. So then I'll just show you really quick. The Celtic Collective is a brand new membership that I just started with my friend Lucy Bryden, who is from Scotland. We have a podcast called One Scot, One Not that I have to go because that's what we're doing next week. Oh, how come I can't make it bigger now? That's weird. Oh, there we go. Jeanette, this is for you. She's always like, make it bigger so we can see. I'm so sorry. So we are obsessed with fairies and elves and fantasy and witches and dragons and medieval times and stone circles and castles. That's all that we secretly want to be doing. So we made a club. That's all we do. So this is really, really fun. She teaches watercolor and gouache, and I teach drawing and watercolor. And so we keep our supplies really limited. We have our own unique set of cheat sheets in this club. And we also have Zoom parties once a month where we get together with our members and we just hang out and chat over Zoom. We share and read magical stories. We'll have like fun little creative prompts. But again, this is new. So we've only had 2 meetings. We just started this over the summer. We also have a way for you to really quickly identify the level of the level of the art lesson. So if you're brand new beginner, you actually have your whole classroom that we start you out on. So you would be a maiden. So you'd be looking for these pink symbols to know the lessons that would be good for you. If you're an intermediate artist, you would be looking for projects that are of a mistress level. And if you're a goddess, well, you can do anything, but you can look for these symbols on all the lessons, and that will tell you which ones will be appropriate for you. Now, maidens might be still too intimidated to dive in, so we actually made you your very own classroom. So you can start here at your own classroom, and we are going to be developing more. But here's a really great introduction, you know, just to watercolor basics, color wheel, mixing skin tones, the difference in the different watercolors. I do a comparison between between watercolors and inks, because I teach in both. I'm like, what's the difference, and what do they look like, and how do they work? And that's all in there. And these are just basics. Again, if you're brand new to art, we have our basics covered in here. And this is my tone paper series, because I teach so much in tone paper. And then we get to go on to the lessons. So just like the other ones, we only release lessons once a month, but we release a crap ton of lessons at one time. They're just not spread out as we do in the other clubs. So to get us started, because this was a brand new, we started by adding lessons from Lucy runs an art membership as well. So we brought in, to get us kick-started, some of our other lessons that were fantasy based. And now every day going forward, we are launching only new lessons that are exclusive to the Celtic Collective. So there's little watercolors, and each one has a really fun, fancy name to make it really fun. So we have mythical creatures. So last month was a Kelpie. So we have a theme every month. Was the Kelpie, who is a murderous water horse that haunts the lochs of Scotland. So he also presents as a male, as a woman, and as a horse. So we did all three variations. And then we also have this little fun jewelry, because hey, fun jewelry. These are all our new lessons coming up. This month is witches. So I'm doing this lesson, which is an evil witch in graphite. Then I teach you how to watercolor her. And then using the same three references, I also had to show you how to make a beautiful, you know, eccentric witch, but on toned paper. I'm also teaching you how to make this spell book, which I'm obsessed with, which is an altered book. And you can see here the little symbols, so you know what levels are appropriate for you. So you could be like, oh, I'm a beginner. I can do this one. I can do this one. I haven't even seen these yet. So these are Lucy's new lessons. So we took a poll in our Zoom call about what familiar we wanted. You guys they were allowed to vote on which familiar we wanted the witch painting to have. So everybody voted, and it was an owl. So Lucy did her lesson with a beautiful witch and an owl being the familiar. So it's a lot of fun, interactive. And then she did these are witch accessories, which I freaking have not seen yet, and I love it so much. You got to have the dagger in there. And then this classroom is just, we are really inspired by the fantasy artists in our genre. So we are doing deep dive studies into different artists. So this is the Wee Thicket sprite from the Spiderwick Chronicles. And I teach you how, using my quadrant method, how to draw that exactly. And then just like we do in the drawing club, this elderberry elf is I teach you how to be creative and come up with your new ideas. And actually, first I taught you how to make all these elderberries, and then we used the elements of the elderberry mixed with the Thicket sprite features to create our brand new elderberry elf, which, by the way, I made into a phone case. I don't know if you guys saw my phone case. Yeah, I know. Etsy shop. Love it. So yeah, so that's the Celtic Collective, and that's all of the things. And it works the same way, where you click on the little green play button and you go right there. Whew. That's all I have. I'm going to expire now. Oh, sorry, Jeanette. It's not a dagger. It's a semi. Did I say it right? Oh, okay. I got nothing else. I have to now do a 2-hour podcast episode with Lucy. So, am I working on any new books? I am. Lucy and I are doing a joint book on mythical creatures. We're about 30% of the way through. So yes, I am. Everything is open through Sunday. I know the Addams Family series. Oh my God, it's my favorite. I am so excited. Oh, here's the big, these are the big Celtic Collective ones, but my Addams Family ones are in here too. I think. Are they? Maybe they're not. Oh. Oh yeah, they are. It's just so funny, the range, because you have like this like goofy, the cute little like mid-century perspective, and then like right next to him you have Uncle Fester. So it's so fun. So I think I mentioned the Addams Family. These are all made with just one pen and water, but I think Wednesday is definitely my favorite. And the hilarious part about that whole series is that I didn't sketch them first in with pencil. I just went right in with my pen. And so like things don't always work out, and it's hilarious. So yes. Is it for beginners? No, it's not for beginners, but it's there. But beginners, you have your little journey that you follow. So yeah, if you're not ready for that, that's okay. You need to work your way up through those beginner classrooms first. So that's fine. I mean, you have to start somewhere. We all start from scratch. We all start from the beginning. I did not grow up. I was not a creative child. I never wanted to be an artist. Ever. I wanted to be Jane Goodall. I went to school for anthropology. I wanted to study primates and monkeys, and I had zero aspirations to be an artist, and I started from scratch. And so it's fine if you do too, but the lessons are there for when you are ready, then you just do them at your own pace. But that's where that's nice that we have a place for everybody to just begin if you're new, and that's so fine. You do you. Everybody's art journey is totally different, but we all start at the beginning at some point. Oh yeah, you like my phone case? That's my elderberry, right? He's so cute. I keep forgetting to show the Celtic Collective people that. So yeah, and Lucy and I at 5 p.m. today are going to be back to just talk about the Celtic Collective. If you think of a question, you can ask us there as well. Yeah, you can ask questions there. You have not seen the Addams Family project? I just showed you. It was right here. We're doing all of them. I think this is in reverse order. Uncle Fester. We're doing the Mansion, Lurch, Morticia, Wednesday, and that's all 5 of them. So that's every week. I can't do Inktober. Inktober stresses me out because it's 31 days and I just cannot. So I was like, I wanted to do something Inktober inspired, but I was like, I can do once a week for sure, but I cannot do 31 days. I will die. How did you make that phone case? Well, it's like a little company, the same company that makes the hoodies and everything. You just upload the design and then they do the rest. Oh, thanks, Tara. You are a link queen today. Awesome. All right, I need to go and actually have lunch before we do our podcast, because then we're going out at 5 to answer questions about Celtic Collective. But you guys can email me too, Karen@awesomeartschool.com, or you can just ask questions in the Facebook group. Tara and Jeanette. Margot is still here. Oh my God, you guys are rock stars. All of them, you can ask questions to private message as well. I am a little bit starving. I actually hadn't thought about it till right now. And I'm like, oh crap, I haven't eaten since 6 o'clock this morning. That's so funny, Joanna says. That's hilarious. Kind of doing October, but I'm going to be too busy now with the drawing club. Yay! Good. It's so fun. It's crazy fun. Oh, see you at 5. That's awesome, Barbara. Yeah. So if you have any questions, you can save them up. You're welcome. You can save them up and regurgitate them then. We're also having a student on, so if you want to ask them, like, how was the live stream, like, are Karen and Lucy super annoying together, like, you can ask them. There, I will. So I'm gonna go grab lunch. You guys can email me, you can bother my amazing staff girls, you can show up at the live and ask questions then, but at least you got like a sneak peek as to kind of just what it is. Hopefully you are very welcome. I will see you guys soon. I'm going to download this and then upload it to YouTube, and I will put this in the workshop classroom so you can have it to reference again if you need to. Okay. All right. You guys rock. I'm going to go get some water and some nourishment. All right. Love you back, Ellen Goodman. Have a great afternoon. I'll see you in a few.